I'm Mike Barham. I'm the customer service manager here at Galco Gun Leather.
I'm Dave Starin, account representative at Galco Gun Leather.
So Dave, the holster that we now call the Miami Classic is based on a design that was originally worked out by Galco's founder, Richard Gallagher, back in the early 1970s. Now, back then, his primary group of customers were Chicago area police officers, and he was very successful with that. The holster really went nationwide and even worldwide in popularity with its debut on a TV show in the 1980s called Miami Vice, which you might have heard of.
Yeah, I believe I've watched a few episodes.
Yeah, so that really took it nationwide and even worldwide, like I said. And now we see that holster over 40 years later in wide use by everyone from law enforcement officers to lawfully armed citizens to deployed service members. So Dave, you have a lot of experience with gun carry in all those perspectives. Can you talk to us a little bit about the advantages of shoulder holster carry?
Sure, the shoulder system is a very practical method of carry. It's extremely comfortable. It's got grab and go convenience, and convenience is a big factor. You've got everything right there in one system. You've got your handgun, you've got your ammo carrier, you grab it, you throw it on, you're good to go.
So it's kind of like the original version of the battle belt that we have today.
Yeah, that's an excellent example of it, sure.
And I can attest to the convenience of that a little bit. I spent a year in Afghanistan about 10 years ago, but that's the way I carried my pistol when I was on the base. So it was very convenient to be able to shrug on that shoulder system, have my M9 service pistol, have a couple of spare magazines, and a tactical flashlight, all in that, like you said, grab and go kind of way.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. And there's sometimes when a shoulder system is actually a preferred method of carry. Let's say you're spending a lot of time driving behind the wheel, riding a motorcycle, trail riding your bicycle, some of those situations. It's actually a preferred method because it's much easier to access your firearm in some of those situations than it would be from a waistband type carry.
Sure, that makes sense. So really it's a great, comfortable, general carry method, and it's also really applicable to anybody who spends time seated.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So Dave, can you go over with us then the assembly, the adjustment, and the safe and efficient use of a shoulder holster?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Great.
Okay, your Galco shoulder system is going to come packaged neatly like so. Once we take it out, we've got four main components. I'm going to lay the harness out on the table so that the word Galco Gun Leather is right there in a proper orientation. Got the holster, I'm right-handed, holster goes on the left side. Ammo carrier is going to go on my right side. I've got my set screws and a product information guide. We highly recommend that you read the product information guide before you start to assemble and use the holster. All right, talk about putting this all together. Take my holster and the first of our four straps. I'm going to feed it down through the first keeper, about 3 inches worth, and then I'm going to run it through the center slot. And here's a little pro tip for you guys. I'm going to stop right here before I run it through the second keeper. I'm going to get that initial fit test done. So it'll be a lot easier to make the adjustments done this way. So again, we're going to come down through this first top keeper, through the center slot, and leave it at that point for now. And do the same thing with our ammo carrier. Down through that top keeper, a couple inches worth, and slide it through the center slot. So there's our initial setup. Now it's time to put the system on, grab a buddy, and have them help us make the initial strap adjustments.
So Dave, now that we've got the rig assembled, let's go over some of the basic adjustments. Now, Galco's found over the years that the quickest and easiest way to adjust the system is to use the buddy system.
Sure.
So when you're getting ready to adjust it, just grab your shooting buddy, your wife, girlfriend, one of your kids, whatever, and have them help you with the adjustments until you get comfortable with the system. So the first thing we're going to do is adjust the position of the holster itself. And what we want to do ideally with the holster is to get it high up into your armpit, as high as you can comfortably wear it, but not so high that you feel kind of chicken winged.
Right.
So you want to be comfortable, but you want to get a lot of the slack out of these straps, okay? You want it fairly high and tight into the armpit. So how does that feel
Sure.
right there?
Makes sense. That feels pretty good.
Feels good? Okay,
Yes.
why don't you keep turning for me?
Okay.
And one thing we need to be aware of, Dave, on this system is the Flexilon swivel plate here in the back. And what we want, ideally, is to have this centered on your spine. And that's really going to help the rig balance out and be a lot more comfortable when we center that swivel plate. Keep turning for me. And the next thing is we're going to adjust the magazine carrier here. And we're going to do the same thing that we did with the holster, which is get this ammo carrier high up into your armpit, as high as you can comfortably get it without, again, feeling chicken winged. So how does that adjustment feel?
Okay, it feels pretty good right now.
All right, so let's go get a gun and we'll get the system locked down for these adjustments.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so we've got our adjustments all done. We're ready to lock everything down. So we're going to take the straps now, we're going to run them through that second keeper. We want to pull it snug, but we don't want to pull it so tight that we change the adjustment on the straps. Once we've got that done, we're ready for our set screws. We'll take the black-faced screw, it goes through the front side. And the brass end on the back side. We'll start off just finger tightening these all into place. Continuing to do that on all 4 straps. Once we have all the set screws finger tightened, we'll take a flathead screwdriver, give it a couple turns, and we're all set.
Okay, Dave, we've got the final adjustments locked in. You've got the screws in place, and now we're testing with your pistol.
Yes, absolutely. And it's important to note that we made sure the pistol was empty, completely unloaded, verified by myself and by Mike, and that there's no ammunition present. That's in a separate area. Remember, safety is always first.
So how does the rig feel, Dave? Does it feel comfortable? Do you feel like you have good freedom of movement?
Feels really good. I think you got the adjustments exactly right for me. It's very comfortable. I could wear this all day long.
Awesome. So, Dave, I'm wearing the JACKASS rig right now, and it's laid out a little bit differently than some of our other shoulder systems. Can you go over with me the differences and the advantages of the JACKASS rig compared to some other shoulder rigs?
Sure, you bet. It's got a couple of advantages over some of the others. One is, as is obvious from watching this video, you're not as thick as I am. But being fit and trim as you are, it's not as easy for you to carry a horizontal position.
Sure.
Smaller people, ladies, etc., who don't have as much thickness as somebody like I do, can wear it like this, and the advantage is it's got the butt down, it's got the muzzle up, and you don't have it sticking out the back so far. So that angle on the holster allows somebody who's smaller to carry a gun, or somebody who wants to carry a longer, fuller size gun.
Right, so a smaller guy like me can wear, say, a full-size 5-inch 1911 like this pistol.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect for that. While you're here, let's talk about straps. We've got this system adjusted for you the way it's comfortable for you, but we've got some excess strap left over here. Now we can trim these down. If somebody wants to trim it and they don't want this extra strap up here, that's fine, but we really recommend that you spend at least a good week or so in the system. Take into considerations like how you dress, do you wear body armor sometimes, etc., so that you've made sure you've got it adjusted the way you want, you've got a little bit extra, and then by all means, if you want, go ahead and trim off some of those ends.
Sounds good.
Okay, now that we've got the system properly adjusted, we're going to talk about the safe and effective use, as in drawing the firearm from the holster. Just like we did with the belt holster, we're going to break this down into the 5 counts: grip, clear, rotate, smack, and look. One of the considerations with the shoulder system is going to be muzzle discipline as it pertains to my support side arm. I'm going to be very aware of that so that I don't muzzle myself and cover things like my brachial artery. So one of the things that's going to be a little bit different with this is on the one count, I need to get the support arm up and out of the way. Now I can accomplish this in one of two different ways. I can bring the support hand up and place it behind my head, or I can bring it across my body and place it on my opposite shoulder. For me, this is a preferred method. It's just more comfortable for me, and it also helps kind of bring the gun around to where it meets my hand as I go to draw. So let's break this down into the 5 steps. Okay, first we have the grip. Support hand comes over, I obtain a firing grip, my finger is in the proper place, drive the thumb through the retention strap to release it. I'm going to clear the pistol from the holster. It's going to rotate around to that very familiar 3 position that we wind up in from the belt holster. My hands are going to smack together close to my body. I'm going to drive the pistol towards the target and look at that front sight. After I finish shooting and I've got my finger back up here straight and off the trigger, I need to return to the holster. I'm going to bring my hands back. My support hand is going to come up here. I'm going to hook my thumb high up under the strap, and then I take my fingers, I reach around, and I pull the retention strap out of the way to clear it to allow the muzzle to go back into the holster. Pistol comes around into the holster and refasten the retention snap. Okay, we're going to talk about the vertical holster system, which, as you can see, carries the gun in an up and down configuration versus the horizontal method as we had in the last shoulder system that we used. I've also added a set of tie downs to this. Now, we make tie downs for all of our shoulder systems, but when it comes to the vertical holster system, I really prefer it because it keeps everything close to me and it doesn't let it kind of move out as I start to move. When we do our draw stroke here, it's going to be much the same as it was with the horizontal style system. As I come across here, I'm going to release the retention strap with my trigger finger, however. Make sure my finger's back up where it's supposed to be. I'm going to clear the holster, rotate around, hands come together, drive the gun towards the target, find the front sight. On the return, much the same. I'm going to grab the strap high up here above the holster, watch the pistol back into the holster, get it secure, and refasten the retention strap.
So Dave, thanks very much for taking us through the assembly, adjustment, and use of a Galco shoulder system. That was great.
Sure, you bet. And if anybody would like more information on the shoulder system, they can visit us at galcogunleather.com.
Thanks for watching, everybody.